good morning if you're in San Francisco or the Pacific Islands. Really good to chat with you. This is episode 2 of 2 episodes in total. Agentic AI Hotel Edition. Today, I'm going to go behind the velvet rope and show you the team that I've created that's running the hotel with your colleagues, your superheroes, making them, giving them wings, giving them a cape, sending them into orbit, because honestly, it's humans in businesses these days who are the neglected ones. And it's about time that we brought a little bit of that glory back, gave these individuals the respect, the attention, and the plaudits they deserve. And I firmly believe that AI agents, dynamic workflows, call them what you will, are a great chance to show your colleagues just how much they mean to your organization. Because if there's anything I've learned in my 30 years in business, it's that we need the tools to do our job. And how often, if you're a manager, and by the way, if you're not using AI as a manager, talk about an overlooked opportunity. You can use all the free tools. It's not going to cost you a penny. If there's one thing you hear as a manager from your colleagues more often than not, it's, I need more time. You set me these ambitious targets. I don't have time because I keep getting interrupted. Interruptions are venom, are kryptonite to colleagues. And agentic AI, no matter how you slice and dice it, is going to take away lots of those frustrations from your team so that they can focus. I'm going to get a new microphone so they can focus on the work that you hired them to do. And we start today's session 2 minutes and 20 seconds in, because we do like to ramble, looking at the overview, the 10,000-foot view of how these AI agents are going to positively impinge on your organization. And the context today is hotel operations. We've gone through in brief some of the different functions where AI agents are about to really earn their crust. But you'll see straight away, you've got check-in, you've got guest service, you've got property care, you've got marketing, you've got finance, you've got HR. Let's not forget the people team. What's going to happen with these guys, by the way, with agentic AI? I think they're just going to get stronger. They're going to be able to focus like every other team in every other business. They're going to be able to do their job better. They're going to work with humans better. They're going to have time to do their jobs. And lastly, F&B, the chef's hat, the Michelin of all agentic AI. So we've talked a little bit, haven't we, about these different areas of the business and how these agents can really oversee and at times actually take the work away from colleagues so that the colleagues can do all the really important stuff. It's not just about the external services. If anything, it's actually more about the internal tools. So HR and onboarding is a perfect example, making sure that your people are upskilled and ready for whatever comes next. But this is a really good example of agentic AI from a different perspective, is that it can also if you imagine you've got you're an operations manager, there's a very good point, I'm going to mention this. You can't really be in every department in the organization. You have your check-ins once a week with managers and they'll tell you a little bit about what's going on, but really, you don't know what's happening day to day. You might be shaking hands, you might be doing your shifts on check-in, you might be working housekeeping once a fortnight just to get a sense of the wear and tear on the hotel, but you don't really know everything that's happening in every corner of the hotel. Well, now you do, you see, because agentic AI can be in all of the different aspects of the hotel. It can be managing inbounds. It can be managing checkouts, making sure that all the rooms are maintained. We talked about this. But this also gives you the chance through natural language processing by having your own in-house chatbot to say, how are things at the moment in maintenance? How is John getting on with his modules? As John presumably wants to work front of house and you've got a couple of modules adrift. You want to find out. You can ask these questions without interfering with people's days because all of this data that used to be locked up in silos is exposed and agents are setting it free. They're taking the canary out of the coal mine and they're showing it the rainbow. The marketing and the personalization is great. I just love all these things. And these all work together. In fact, let us, you and I, just for a second, let me swap screens. Let me show you the ugliest mermaid diagram that you have ever seen. Right. So what have we got here? Let me see if I can just zoom out and then zoom in a little bit. You've got your 7 functions. You've got your check-in, you've got your customer service, you've got your marketing, you've got your F&B, you've got your maintenance, you've got your finance, and you've got your HR agents. And across the top, you can see you've got booking, pre-arrival, you've got arrival, you've got stay, you've got departure, you've got your customer journeys, you've got your processes, and you can see very quickly through these swirly, squiggly lines to which affects which. So obviously marketing have got a really big part to play in bookings, personalized offers, campaign creation, guest retention for post-departure. Recapping on the stay, I mean, my goodness, imagine further downstream if you're creating a tailored sightseeing tour. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys remember Detour, but imagine if you could personalize this through the hotel. It's very easy to do, by the way, through AI. Imagine if you had given all of your guests dynamic interactive concierge services. Imagine if you've got a 15-room hotel and as well as the human interaction, you've also got an always on concierge for your guests. Well, post departure, oh, thanks so much for coming to stay with us. Here's some of the memories that you shared while you were staying with us. And you've got some feedback that they gave you about the sightseeing tour that you dynamically generated with AI. Some photos that were taken while they were at the resort, at your hotel. And the conversation starts all over again, and then marketing gets involved, personalized offers based on your last stay. This is not something that you could ever have done in the age before AI. And now here we are having big conversations about these new features, new services that you can offer because technology enables that, just as it enables your staff to do a better job delivering exceptional guest experiences. And, we work through the automated operations, resource optimization, predictive analytics, and this real-time monitoring, so important for F&B, so important for your property and your maintenance teams. And this can all be taken care of by AI when you start to look at prioritization. IoT, Internet of Things, AI can work with sensors across the hotel. Very inexpensive sensors, by the way. Raspberry Pi costs a few quid. Arduino processors cost a few pounds, and clever installation of these things, and you can really measure your hotel thermostats, temperature, air quality, all feed this in and through AI dynamically respond to it. Well, the benefits, bottom of this hideous diagram, efficiency gains of up to 70%, 30% cost reduction. And this is through resource optimization. It might be that you find that your hotel is quiet for the next few days and AI is there to flag it up and say, okay, well, if we've got some 0 hours contracts, we probably don't need to pull Pauline and Pauline next week. Guest satisfaction up huge amounts because all of a sudden, everything that guests want is not only reactively delivered, but proactively. We know the guests better than they know themselves. And of course, all this wrapped up in round the clock availability. It really is an enticing prospect, isn't it? I'm going to go back to where this journey today began, back to the hub, because I've got something really exciting to show you. You're just looking at this and you're going, oh, well, it's great. It looks great. It's glossy. But how does all this actually work? Well, two things. Here's a dashboard with all of your 7 agents, from check-in to marketing. I've run the check-in agent, and here's the output from the agent. What have we got? So it pulls in all the guest bookings. And by the way, I'm going to share the code base with you because it's in the next edition of AI Today, the newsletter that I send out to keep people like you, fascinated people, excited, educated, and entertained. I'm like the BBC of AI, enough of the acronyms. Here is the output, the raw output from the agent. This is a Python script that we could hook up to any data set and start working with the data set. It comprises lots of different functions. They're called function calls. So first of all, we'll start pulling in the details about the guest bookings and their suggested arrival times. Again, we can stay in touch with guests via AI, whether it's via our app, on WhatsApp, old-fashioned SMS. Get some updates from them. When are you expecting to arrive today? Okay, so straight away that's pulled into our data sets, our CRM system, whatever. We've got a quick heads up here. Now, if you are the operations manager of a hotel, you've got 7 agents, 7 nodes in your system. You probably just want a quick digest of what's coming up today. You might want to say, okay, well, give us all 7 of these agents and their summaries. What information have they got? What have they done? And what is waiting for humans to get involved? Well, okay, so we heard about Alice in Wonderland. She's arriving. You'll know about that. She's the VIP guest. She's room 305, one of the finest rooms. In fact, that might be the penthouse. She's arriving, as we can see, at 2 o'clock. She wants a quiet room. We talked about this last time. We'll go into it. But anyway, we get more details. So preparation tasks, and this would go to housekeeping. What are all of the additional requirements of these guests? Quiet room, high floor, extra pillows, late checkout. Carol wants a balcony with a city view, which is difficult because it's in Stroud. Away from lifts. Right, okay, you'll see that I'm using the Gemini 2.5 Flash preview here, which is free. So you can test. That was a good little interruption. You can test this. When I share a link, you can go into my, I'm on Medium, by the way. I write on Medium, and I'm going to include the code base on Medium because I think the LinkedIn newsletter might break if I put all the code in there, but I can certainly do that on Medium. So check me out on Medium. I'll send a link. Here's a breakdown of all the guests in much detail, and you will see a pre-arrival email that's been written by our agents, our AI agents. Here's to confirm all the stuff about the check-in that we're going to be doing for her and her rabbits and queens dressed as cards. We've noted your preference for a quiet high floor room and your request for extra pillows. We look forward to welcoming you to the Grand Serenity Hotel. And we've got pre-arrival emails for everybody here, everybody who's arriving. And then we've got success. That really seals the deal. Now, if we've got a supervisor model in the mix here, which is essentially somebody who's marking your homework, if we've got that in the process, we can be confident that all of this stuff is done. Now, don't forget, I've talked in the past about decentralized AI. What is that? Well, that's having on site your own language model, which is essentially all of the data that you are using your algorithm on to predict the information that the request asks for. That's essentially how the transformer model, the AI architecture works for generative AI. The success there is a big white tick on a green box saying we've done all this. We've saved it all to a text file if you want to check it up. That can also go to another resource. If somewhere it might want to go individually to, you might have a section in your CRM system for checking emails so that you can see what's been promised no way back. Right, so that is the check-in processor. What else should we do? The marketing engine is an interesting one because that actually has humans in the loop. Let's see how this works. Let's see if it does work. So the marketing engine or the agent is an interesting one because as you go through the output of the marketing agent, it asks for human intervention. And this, you have to remember, this demo is not interactive in that, as far as I'm aware, in this terminal output, I can't type things in and then the process continues. As far as I'm aware, this is just spitting all the data out, and it's just here to give you a hint as to what Agentic AI can do for a hotel. So let me be clear, this is flat text, raw text, plain text. What it's really here to do is just to give you a whiff of what AI is doing, and then to decide, you and I, or you and whoever you choose, how you want to work with this output. You want to put it into another resource, you want to put it into an app that you also have built to keep you updated. This is a dashboard, this is a user interface. This is actually a really good example, really, because I've taken the output of these agents and put them into another interface. So this is just a really good example of, you can really put any of this output anywhere. You can have it trigger any actions, any tasks. It's an input for something else. All outputs potentially are inputs. So, right, we're still processing because there's a lot to this marketing engine. And it might be that you get it all over here. It'd be nice if you did, because it would show that the terminal output actually works rather than me just hacking something together to show you an example of what happens with the check-in engine. But what's happening behind the scenes is a prompt is being sent via API to our, can I show you this? Yeah, I think I probably could. While this is working, we'll come back to this. I'll show you what actually happens. This is the article that I'm writing at the moment. And let's go to the, I mean, this is a good example of, this is the first example. This is the check-in agent. So you'll remember the output that we saw before, which was a list of all of the guests arriving and how we should be dealing with them, sending them emails before they arrive. So what am I doing here? So essentially, I'm ensuring that the API key is all plugged in so that we're talking to the AI, the large language model, and I'm working with the, you'll see the Gemini 2.5 Flash preview model. And then we've got some synthetic data here. And what this is doing is asking, you'll see everything in red here. This is asking the AI to do certain functions, to do certain tasks. Process the following guest booking data for today's arrivals. And this print here is all of the different messages that needed to be shown in that output window if there were any issues with it. That's in a nutshell what that is. The customer service agent is very different. And this is where people are asking questions of our FAQ bot. Here's all the questions. And then the AI is deciding how to process them. Let's go back and see if anything's happening. We're still processing after all this time. Doesn't happen like that in the real world, by the way. It's because we're going through many different gates and filters. But all of these different code bases here are, these are essentially programs, but we call them agents. Because why not? But we are essentially, the nature of these agents is that we are creating frameworks within which these programs work, these workflows work. These are workflow frameworks. And what is output hopefully, one day, not here, clearly. Maybe, like I say, marketing is right because, oh, hang on, no, we're here. Whoa, it's arrived. This is exciting. Marketing. Here's all the guests, and here's where they're staying. Still processing. Here's the personalized marketing offers that are part of the Agentic AI setup. Here's all of the offers that we're recommending for each of these guests. This is exciting. Alice Johnson, she's a silver tier member on our loyalty program. She spent £450 with us. She's arriving soon. We know that she's a big fan of the spa, that she loves luxury. So she's got an upcoming wedding anniversary. So these are opportunities that we've got to bring Alice back into the fold. Exclusive wellness retreat, anniversary serenity package. Alice has got an upcoming anniversary and a stated interest in wellness and luxury. So why don't we offer her one of these? Here's a couple more offers for a very different kind of guest. These have all been generated by AI. And again, Maria Garcia, she's a really active, pacey kind of gal. So let's get her 20% off a local adventure tour. This is all generated by AI. Now, it might be that we've got a knowledge base that contains all of these incredible offers and opportunities and perks and rewards. But what's really interesting here, please let me know your feedback on this batch. Right now, this is just an output, like I say, so I can't respond to this. But in the real world, your customer service team will get these when they're checked in the morning, and they would be asked to review these offers. And you'd be like, I don't think a 10% discount is enough here for David Kim on all in-house entertainment activities. This guy has spent £4,500. He's been 8 stays. He's platinum. 10%. You want to keep this guy? You want to take him to diamond? You want 25%. And as we do that, and you'll remember from when we showed before the diagram, self-learning continuous improvement is one of the other perks of AI. So we just keep on working through these things, keep improving, and so on. This is huge. This is why it takes so long, because there's so much information here. But if you do this at the start of the day, it's all there for the rest of the day. You don't need it in real time. F&B management. I'm going to finish off with this. I'm going to clear the output. We've seen enough of that. And let's start the F&B management. So what have we learned today? Well, we've learned that AI and agentic AI can take so much pressure off your colleagues. Not only that, it can create a way more impactful hotel experience. It can reduce time. It can introduce new opportunities, because humans just don't have necessarily the ability, the skill, the experience to go deep into these offers that we pitch to marketing on a personalized level for each of these future guests. It's just not done. These are the kind of things that you need a marketing director for. And if you are a 15-room hotel, good luck paying someone £60,000 a year to run your marketing. But you don't need to do that anymore, do you? Because with AI, you can do that. What I've done, all of this stuff that I've shown you, the AI Ops Hub that you're looking at right now, all of the stuff that's happening here, this right now on this basis is absolutely free. So at the very least, you can test this stuff out with your own data. It's crazy. So this finally is the F&B management. So what have we got here? Based on all of the data that's in your F&B tools, applications, we can see all of the ingredients that are ready to be used. If you remember the Boston Consulting Matrix, you remember things like cash cows and dogs, stars. There's another one. We've got a similar kind of thing going on here, except it's plough horses, which I kind of like. So straight away, the high profit, high rating ingredients: chicken breast, salmon fillet, organic tomatoes, asparagus, mushrooms. Let's think about some menu items with these delicious ingredients. High profit, low rating, olive oil premium, sea salt. People aren't really going for it. Pasta's an interesting one. Dogs, avoid. Fresh cream, fresh herbs mix. We can do better than that. So what's happening now? Cost control analysis. Straight away, here is all of the information that we need to get if we are head of F&B. Right, this is the kind of stuff that takes into account data from our suppliers, takes all the costs in, gives us an appreciation of what we need for these particular ingredients. It's great. So this analysis tells us we need to do a cost control analysis, and cost controller, this is the agentic AI nature of this beast. Talking to the F&B manager coordinator agent, here's the report, and you'll see this if you go into the property management stuff, the maintenance side of things. I'm going to share all of the code base for this so that you can run this locally. Grab your API key at aistudio.google.com and make this work on your own local machine. And you'll quickly see the value that you can bring here with synthetic data for the time being in a sandbox. But as soon as you start plugging in your own data, it's remarkable. So here is your full cost control analysis here. Negotiate pricing with Metro Wholesale. This, you're getting a team of experts with 15 years experience, cost control. You might just have a chef in the kitchen, but getting your data into one place, getting your data managed, cleansed right now, becoming ready, thinking in systems for a digital twin of your organization. Doesn't matter what size you are, it's very easy. In fact, the smaller the better now, because you might only have one database. Train your large language model local version on a Apple Mac with Apple Silicon. What's that, £1,500 for the computer to run a large language model? Get that fine-tuned on your database, and you could be doing this every day. Consolidating suppliers, negotiating better terms, potentially reduce overall food costs by 2 to 3%. What? This is you being spoon-fed success. And we talk about hotels and hospitality, but I think you're just getting a sense here of what can be done. Here's your exec summary. Inventory value, £18,000. Whoa! Average profit margin, 65.2. Not bad. Not bad in the F&B world. High waste items, 3. Well, yeah, we could be doing better with that. But all things considered, I think you can't avoid this. And I think as a hotel operator or as a business owner, you can't avoid this. In fact, to tell you what I'm going to do, if you're watching, I'm going to get a draft of this. And I'm going to plug it in here, if I can. That's gone out just to YouTube because I can't post it for some reason to LinkedIn, but you can certainly have it. I'll post it on LinkedIn after this is finished. Oh, bang on half an hour again. This is perfect. Love it. Great stuff. But listen, if you want to know anything else, I love a bit of this. If you want to know anything else about how AI agents can make a huge difference to your business, I urge you to drop me a line. How do you do that? Well, how about that? Dave@wordandmouth.com. Polished performance as always. At Dave Thackeray on X. I would love to chat. And we're going to get off now because I think 30 minutes is just about perfect.